Well, there are three purposes of assessment. They're not forms of assessment, they're purposes and intentions of what assessment does. I think the first of these is the one that the default position we use when we talk about assessment, and that is assessment that makes judgments about students that end up in some kind of certification. Now, the term that's been used for that technically is summative assessment, which is the summation of what students can do. And that focuses on, have students met the learning outcomes? And it's really as simple as that. Another purpose of assessment is assessment that contributes to students learning through the process as they build up to meeting their learning outcomes. And that's something we call formative assessment. So it's formative because it helps form the students. So what formative assessment does is it provides information to students to help them improve their work, and is something that goes on prior to final judgments. The third purpose of assessment is helping students to make judgments about their own work. So when they leave us, they aren't going to have assessors. I mean, their work is going to be ultimately assessed, but sometimes it's going to be assessed when it's too late and they've lost their job. So what we need students to be able to do is that they need to be able to ask themselves the question, am I doing this appropriately? What constitutes good work? And that is what we might call sustainable assessment, because students can develop those kind of judgments and then apply them to their work once they leave us. And if we succeed in doing summative assessment and formative assessment, and we don't succeed in helping students make judgments of their own work, we really sold them short. And maybe we shouldn't even graduate them. If we're looking at the overall timescale, summative is very late, formative is very early, and one phase is out as the other phase is in. So there will be times in the middle of semesters, in the middle of programs, when things are doing both formative and summative work. But when we're looking very early, it should be exclusively formative, and if we're looking very late, it should be exclusively summative. There's no point giving students detailed feedback on work they're never going to do again. So that's the two formative, summative purposes. If we look at the sustainable assessment purpose, then that needs to occur early. So students need to develop the capacity to make judgments about their own work right from day one. And there are various activities that you can do right in first year, right from the beginning, to enable students to kind of start to notice what good work is, notice how they can apply it to their work, and then start to carry it through. You would scaffold that through a subject and through a course, so that the students, by the end of the course, should be being able to tell you exactly how well they're doing. When at the point of graduation, if the students don't know how well they're doing, we've failed them, because we haven't done sustainable assessment well.